of Tyler's Truck Talks episodes. We just got done talking about the Myers-Briggs. Now we're going to get into the 15 connection questions. Are you ready for this, Tyler?
I am.
All right. The first one up is, what fictional character do you relate to most and why?
Oh, I feel like the first one that came to mind was Patrick from SpongeBob.
Interesting.
I mean, I don't know, like, I just feel like most of the time I'm just kind of laid back, chill.
Okay.
But, yeah.
I can kind of see that. I can kind of see you being like the always very loyal best friend, you know, in the situation, who's just very lighthearted. That's a good character to be. So, second one is, if you could have anyone else's life, whose would you take?
I would honestly go with one of my favorite hockey players, just because I've followed him his whole career, and I think it would be so cool just to live like him for like a day. And that's Vladimir Tarasenko. He plays for the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah. So, what would you do, like, in his shoes for a day? Would you just go and hang out with the team and get to know them, or like, is there something that's specific?
Also, I would love to see like all of the fans and like, because he's one of the ones that's one of the outstanding ones that he goes to like autograph sessions whenever there is, and he's just like one of the most, I guess, social players there is.
That's really cool. Yeah. Okay, if you had to have a conversation with one person with whom you had to be completely honest and open, who would you have that conversation with and why?
I would probably say my grandpa.
Okay.
Because he's probably my best friend that, I've ever had. And yeah, I just, there's a lot of stuff I want to still learn about him while I still have the time and all that. And I just think it would be cool to sit down for like a day and just talk with him the whole day.
I think you should do it. You know, it's kind of funny, we don't really talk to the people who are like sitting right next to us for like kind of our whole lives, and we're like, you know what, I don't know much about this person at all. And then you like hear things that you're like, oh my gosh, that's crazy, I didn't know that. Like, I didn't know for a really long time that my grandfather lived in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, like until he was like 14. Because I always thought he was Canadian, because he lived in Canada for so long. And I was like, you're American? Like, nobody told me this. Like, things you learn.
Yeah.
How important in relationships is like-mindedness?
I think it plays a very important role.
Okay. Do you think
but
it's...
I feel like also there should be a little bit difference. Like, yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Name one thing you are completely in awe of, something that just, like, blows your mind.
There's a lot, but I think the major thing is just how this world is changing every day.
Okay. What would you think is, like, kind of the craziest change to you in your mind? Like, is there something that's just like, what?
I think the major one that I've noticed over the past couple of years is just like the advancements in technology and stuff. Like, they've come so far in like 3 years that it's just mind-blowing.
I agree. I think we'll have flying cars in the next couple of years. I want one when we have them. Alright. Have you ever had a dream that had later came true?
Yeah?
Yeah?
Yep. I had a dream that I was gonna go to a St. Louis Blues game, which most of my dreams revolve around hockey, but this one I dreamed that I would go to the Blues game and they would beat the number one team in the league.
Okay.
Last March that happened. One of my friends' dads got tickets and they invited me to go with them, so I went with them and they took down the number one team. They were wearing their alternate third jerseys that they only wear for specific games, and it was just like one of the best experiences ever.
That's really cool. See, like, for that reason, I feel like you're like meant to be on that team now, because you got such a connection with it.
that would be amazing.
Yeah. What do you really like about yourself?
I feel like I kind of like just like I like to be open with people and like
Mm-hmm.
have them talk to me and I can talk to them back and forth. Like I just like that I have the ability to have an open conversation with people.
That's awesome. I think that's a really good trait to have. You know, a lot of people don't really open up. A lot of people are very scared to tell people what they're really thinking, which I think holds a lot of people back from like really understanding each other. So I really respect that.
Yeah. I just wish more people had that too. Like,
No, believe me, I understand. Right. Do you believe in other dimensions and parallel universes?
I wouldn't say I fully believe in them, but I have thought at certain times like maybe they do exist.
Yeah.
But
What do you think
yeah.
they would be like? Like, do you think it'd be like complete opposite of what we have now, or?
I don't know. Like I feel like they would be more advanced than us if we had an alternate dimension. But at the same time, we would have some stuff that they wouldn't. Like,
Yeah. I think so. I definitely believe in string theory, which is a quantum physics thing, which not a lot of people know about. So, go where you know or chart a new path for yourself.
I feel like I would want to go somewhere I didn't know.
Okay.
Like, I think it'd be cool to explore new things a lot. But at the same time, like, there's some stuff that you got to keep just like right on track that you already know that like you're familiar with. But,
yeah. No, there's always that like main road you can like take the side roads off of and like travel a little bit, but then come back home, kind of.
Yeah.
Which I think is a very healthy way of looking at things and living life. What makes you feel most alive?
I think just being around all my friends and family, like, that's just one experience that is not like any other thing you'll ever experience.
Is there like a certain dynamic that's like very true to just like you and your friends, like experience wise? Is there like a memory that you're like, oh, I would not have had that with anybody else?
There's so many. Like, I love to be out with friends and stuff, just hanging out, chilling. It's just so much fun. But
yeah, that's awesome. If you could design a monument, building, or business, what would you build and what would it be like?
I think it would be cool to build a monument of what's his name? I can't. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank.
That's
what's
okay.
his name?
Is it a hockey player or is it somebody else in history?
He was one of the owners of a hockey team, and then he did so much for that organization, building it, and then he passed away a couple years into it. But then, yeah, I don't remember his name though.
That's okay. I'm sure if people Google what you just said, they'll come up with his name. Hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah.
What would your perfect day look like?
Perfect day would be waking up about 10 in the morning, going and just probably sit outside for a couple hours, go get lunch with some friends, go catch a movie or something, and then just kind of hang out all day, enjoy outside, and yeah.
Nice. Kind of just have one of those let's make memories kind of day?
Yeah.
Yeah? Awesome. What do you consider yourself, or what do you consider your safe place?
I think my safe place is just in my room by myself,
Okay.
where I can just have like all my thoughts just come out at once, and if there's important ones, write them down. But yeah, just be by myself during that.
Interesting. Do you find yourself needing to, like, kind of go and think things out a lot? Okay.
Yeah.
I feel that. Alright, this one's kind of a different one, and I hope you're ready for it. Tell me a short story with these 3 elements: hockey, jazz music, and coffee.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Alright, so one day after hockey practice,
Okay.
me and the boys from hockey, we went to let's say Starbucks, right? We went to Starbucks to get some coffee.
Okay.
And then outside on the corner, there's this jazz band playing music. It was pretty cool because it was a 5-man band.
Interesting. Nice. You did a good job with that one. I thought you were a total curveball. You took it with grace. Good job. And the last one is, do you have a nickname and what's the story behind it?
I have a couple. I think the main one would be Tiger, and that's for my mom.
Okay.
And ever since I was like 3 or 4, I think I pointed out once at the zoo a tiger.
Oh.
And then since then, my mom's just called me Tiger ever since.
Oh, that's sweet. That's cool. That's a cool nickname. How do people get those? Like. So our next segment, since we're only at about 12 minutes, we can keep going, and this is just our life in general segment. So I'm just be talking about like what's going on with you. So obviously we're in quarantine, not much is going on. I know that you're starting school today via video chat. How are you feeling about that? Like, do you think it's gonna be weird or like complicated?
Yeah, it's gonna be weird, but like I was looking at all the requirements that we have already. And for a French class, like, it's easy. Like, she's just going to have a couple questions each day we have to answer, and that's about it. But I think band's probably going to be the worst part because they're going to make us be doing weekly playing tests and stuff, teaching us music theory, which I'm kind of excited about. But at the same time, I don't think we should need to practice and stuff since we're not going to be able to have a concert at any time. But, yeah.
Well, I can imagine they're just like, we don't want you, like, losing this stuff. Because I know, like, I started learning guitar, and I didn't play it for, like, 2 months, and I was like, oh, well, I used to know how to do this. So, with that, are you feeling kind of, like, are you kind of going crazy not leaving the house? Like, is it hard for you to, like, stay home and just
Yes,
chill?
I have run out of stuff to do at this point. Like, I just enjoy, like, just going out, maybe even sitting in the car, just get out of the house, because there's nothing left to do inside.
I feel ya. Like, what's one of the funniest things you've done to keep yourself from being bored while in quarantine?
So, I went out into the backyard, and I dug probably 18 holes, I would say. And they were about a foot deep. And at that point, I just took tennis balls, went out in the front yard, launched them up over the house with my racket, and tried to land them in the holes.
Why didn't you video that? I would have watched that. That's awesome. That's a new challenge. That's so cool. So, and you had mentioned this before with hockey and like how you got into it. How did you get onto like the hockey team and stuff? Like who did you go to? Like that kind of whole story.
Yeah, when I think it was 8 was my first year I played hockey. I went to this Saturday session and it was learn hockey.
Okay.
And what they did was they provided everything for you. They provided the skates, sticks, and all that. And you went out on the ice and you had a coach that was out there teaching you how to skate and all that. Well, I was doing that, and then I had already known how to skate and stuff, and I kind of played hockey a little bit, just like out on the road and stuff.
Okay.
But the coach came up to me and he said, "I think you should get into hockey." And then he went and talked to my parents and stuff. And then the next week I joined the hockey team. And probably the worst part of it was my first game I was playing goalie.
Oh.
And none of the kids know how to stop when you're 8, 9.
Mm-hmm.
And so this kid was rushing towards the net, couldn't stop, hit me, and I fell down, right, into the goal, but I couldn't get up because of the pads. So I was just laying there for a couple minutes, and then the ref had to come over and help me up. And I was so embarrassed at that point.
But you know what? You took one for the team, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, like at first I thought you were going to say your mom came running out. That probably would have been worse.
Yeah. She probably would have done that too, though, but...
That's really cool that you had, like, your coach be like, hey, you need to get into this. Like, I see potential, which is, like, really cool. So,
yeah, I enjoyed it.
That's awesome. So are you still playing hockey, or, like, what's the verdict on that right now? I mean, I know it's not season for hockey, but are you planning on getting back into it when the season starts again?
Yeah, I took this season off because of my job and tennis. I wanted to focus on those. But I think next year I might get back into it and play. The only problem is all my friends on that team are graduating this year, so they're not able to play next year. But I don't know. Come October, I'll know a better idea.
Yeah. I think you should play. I've seen you on skates. You're very graceful, and you got a lot of agility, which I give you props, because when I was there, I was falling flat on my butt the entire time. So I see a lot of talent in you. I'm sure you're gonna go and get on the St. Louis Blues. No, I can see that happening. No. What would you do if you got accepted onto the St. Louis Blues? Like, what would be kind of your first plan of action?
Oh, man, I wouldn't even know. Like, that would just be like the number one dream come true. Like, I don't know.
I can't imagine. Like, would you have to move? I mean, obviously you'd have to move out to St. Louis, I think.
Yeah, I'd probably get a home out there for the season, because I mean, you're getting paid like millions to play on there, so like you could have multiple homes.
So is it? Well, of course. See, it's always weird because, like, I always think, oh, well, even though they're not playing, they're always practicing, when it's, like, off-season. So, like, I don't know if they get paid for that time or they're just paid for the games. Like, I don't know how that works, but...
Yeah, normally it's just you're paid for the season, but, like, your checks are split up, like, pretty much the whole year, in essence.
Okay, that makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
Well, Tyler, you've been a great guest on the show. Thank you so much for coming on. I had a lot of fun talking to you. Guys, if you want to see Tyler on any more episodes on Truck Talks, comment down below, like and subscribe, and we'll see you in a couple of days, because that seems to be how I'm posting these videos. All right, bye, guys.